Hello there, fellow captains. This is Sorvesteon coming to you from World of Warships, and they have done it. They have added the ARP Takao to the game, which I didn't think they would. And that's because it's in direct competition with the Atago. In fact, I think the first couple of days that this event started, people were saying, yeah, I don't need to go and buy the Atago now. I can just get myself a free Takao, which kind of echoes what I said in my last video about the ARP missions. I really didn't think that they would release the Takao. I know that they had a model for it, but I didn't think they would actually go ahead and release it, but they did. It's on the North American and the European servers. The missions for the two are different. I'm just going to cover the North American mission because that's what I've been covering for the other Arpeggio ships. Alright, so this is the mission for Arpeggio November, and it's going on until December 1st. Now, in order to get the Takao, you're going to have to complete 5 separate challenges. Now, you do get a little something for each, some credits, some flags, some consumables, some more flags, and then of course the Takao along with the mental model of the Takao and 10 commander skill points, which is really awesome. However, in order to get all this, well, you're going to have to get a combined 110,000 base XP. Now, this is not the XP that you get from the battle in total. This is just the base XP. So when you go and you look at how you ranked in your team after the battle, it'll show you how much base experience you got. So here, I just won a battle in my Kagero. And here, if I go to the credits and XP, my total experience was 1,977, which you can see as soon as it loads, echoes my score, my team score. So that's a lot of base experience to get. In fact, depending on how good you are, you'll probably average around maybe 1,000 base experience a battle if you're fairly decent. That basically adds up to a crap ton of battles that you're going to have to do. I mean, it's not quite as bad as the Europeans got it. They have to get 50 victories. But I still think having to get 110,000 base experience is pretty darn nasty for a tier 8 ship. The tier 7 ships, the Miyoko class cruisers that you could get, the Nachi, the Ashigara, the Miyoko, and of course the Haguro, their missions were nowhere near as bad as this. So, but it's totally worth it. I've seen people do this in just, maybe a couple days. If you literally played World Warships, slept, ate, and did nothing else, well, of course, went to the bathroom. If you did absolutely nothing else, you could probably finish all the challenges in probably a day or two. I personally wasn't able to get my Takao until about 5 days after the event started. I had real life stuff to do, and so it took me about 5 days of casual play that I was putting in about 2 to 4 hours a day to work my way through all the challenges to get my Takao. And it is nice that it comes with a 10-point commander that does allow you to get a nice variety of skills. I was able to get basic firing training, my expert marksman, the superintendent, and I went for the demolition expert, as this is the Atago class cruisers have an excellent fire chance, and I didn't really see any point in buffing up the AA with advanced firing training. Doesn't really help Japanese cruisers all that much. They don't really get that powerful of AA anyways. Nor did I really see, a big boost from survivability experts, so I didn't go with that. Anyways, so it is really nice that they give you a 10 skill point commander. It does kind of compensate you for the fact that you do have to get 110,000 base experience. That is, you know, rather ridiculous. As for the ship that you're getting, of course, you get, you know, the custom voice acting, the nice cool blue skin, which I'm not actually a huge fan of. I think it looked better in the anime. But I think the blues were just a little bit of a different color, but it's not too bad. It's still pretty cool. And of course, you get the custom animations with the torpedoes. The ARP Takao, I should say, is not quite the same as the Atago. In terms of combat capability, they are almost identical. Of course, you know, the ARP Takao is an Atago, but it is missing a few very important things that make the Atago better. First of all, the Atago can train Japanese commanders, whereas the Takao can only train ARP commanders. So you can switch commanders between your ARP ships without penalty or cost. And you can do the same with the Atago, but you can do it for all your Japanese commanders. So you can use the Atago to train up your other Japanese commanders, whereas with the Takao, well, that's not possible. And of course, the Atago gets its premium status. So it gets more credits for each battle. It has the elite status, so it gets more free XP. Whereas the Takao, when you go and read the fine print, gets none of that. Now, one of the big things about the Atago that is much different than the Takao is the fact that it comes with a camouflage. The Type 10. Minus 3% to detectability, plus 4% to maximum dispersion of shells, plus an additional 50% to XP earned in the battle. So this camouflage does give, you know, a lot of additional bonuses. The ARP Takao does not come with any sort of premium camouflage. It's just a normal camouflage. And to give you an idea of the kind, let's go and look at its concealment. Detectability by sea, 10.7 kilometers. Now, I have the same skills on the commander, so you can see I do not have the concealment expert on this commander either. So, when we go back and when we take a look at the camouflage, you can see that the detectability range by sea is being affected by this camouflage. So this is 10.4 kilometers, where the ARP Takao, it's 10.7. And that is basically because this camouflage has a minus 3% to detectability range by sea, whereas the Takao doesn't. So if I was to change this, let's say here, let's go to the Type 2, which only increases the maximum dispersion of shells fired by the enemy. So if I go to here, you can see the modification to my detectability by sea would bring it in line with what the Takao has at 10.7. So basically, because the Atago has this special premium camouflage, it's more stealthy. Now, just slightly, but still, it's more stealthy, which gives it an advantage in combat over the Takao. So the Atago is kind of like a poor man's Atago. Now, it probably will be a limited time only ship, you know. The event is only going on until December 1st. So after December 1st, only the Atago will be available. But that being said, the Atago also doesn't get some of the other really cool things that the Takao gets, like the voice acting and the custom torpedo animations and such things like that. But if you're looking at them in terms of pure combat ability, well, then the Atago is superior. Now, despite the fact that I didn't think that they would end up releasing this ship, I'm really happy that they did, because I really like the Atago over top of the Miyoko class ships. The Atago is a fantastic cruiser, wonderful. I love how the torpedoes can fire both forwards and backwards. You know, the guns turn at a relatively decent rate and have, you know, a really good, decent amount of firepower and range, as well as having the repair consumable makes this, you know, one very tough ship. So having an ARP version of the Atago is, you know, absolutely fantastic. So this has quickly become one of my new favorite ships in World of Warships. And of course, it features Takao's mental model. I watched the anime. I watched the movie. Takao is, in my opinion, probably one of the more interesting mental models. She gets defeated by, well, they all get defeated by Chihaya Gunzo, but her kind of journey is a little bit more interesting, and she ends up becoming Gunzo's ally. And, you know, I find her extremely cute and, well, incredibly sexy. So, you know, she's kind of like my waifu. So, you know, like, I absolutely love that she's now in the game and I can listen to her voice. And that is another thing that I really, really, really like. They've put in the voice acting for Takao. So it's not just a dub over with Iona's voice. They have her voice from the anime and the movie in the game, and that is really pleasant to listen to, along with all the wonderful cuteness and sass that comes with her personality. I love having her personality, you know, in the game with the ship. That is fantastic. So I've already shown you the commander skills that I've gone with. Now I'll show you the upgrades that I've gone with. I've gone with the magazine modification 1. If you have on the exterior, back to signals. If you have the Juliet Charlie flag, well then you can totally go with a different one, like the main armaments modification or maybe the auxiliary armaments modification. But I choose not to use that flag on this ship, so I'm going with the magazine modification. For the second upgrade, I'm going with the aiming systems modification 1 for that minus 7% to the maximum dispersion of the main battery shells. Also for the torpedo tube's traverse speed. So I find that, you know, those two things are useful on this ship because, you know, her torpedo armament is also one of her, you know, really nice attributes along with her guns. So making those two things more accurate and faster is really good. You can, of course, go with, you know, other setups. The main battery modification 2 would also work fairly well because, you know, Japanese guns turn slowly. So being able to turn your guns faster with only a 5% penalty to your reload time is also, you know, a good way you could go. And of course, if you want to be more effective with your AA, then you can go with the AA guns modification 2 instead. I absolutely, totally recommend the damage control system modification 1 because, you know, she's a big target. Like, she's a long ship, you know, as large as some battleships, not quite as wide, but almost getting there, and she's going to get set on fire a lot. That being said, the steering gears modification 2 to help dodge torpedoes and also just to help dodge incoming shells. I find that the Atago and the Takao are very agile ships, and so the steering gears, you know, just makes them even more so. You can really dodge a lot of incoming fire if you know how to captain and steer this ship. And of course, you know, I'm going with the concealment system modification 1 because one of the great attributes of the Atago and the Takao is their concealment. They are very stealthy, especially once you get that level 5 commander skill, the one for here, the concealment expert. So, I mean, it's pretty freaking awesome the kind of concealment you can get on a cruiser of this size at tier 8. And in addition to that, with the ammunition and consumables, you have a choice here. I'm going with the Damage Control Party 2 because on this ship, I definitely want it. On the Atago, I'm not using it right now, but I would recommend that. You can go with the Hydroacoustic Search, or you can go with the Defensive AA Fire. That's totally up to you and what you think is going to be more useful. One's better for protecting yourself from aircraft carriers, and for helping to kind of shield other allied ships, whereas the Hydroacoustic Search is really good for hunting down DDs. Well, you don't have a choice, you have to have your catapult fighter, but I've chosen not to upgrade that one because I don't really find it all that useful. One of the things I do go with the upgraded version for is the Repair Party 2. It gives you an extra charge, and it shortens the reload time. Really important on the Atago and the Takao because you don't have the armor of a battleship, and you do take a lot of damage. So getting that Repair Party consumable back up as quickly as possible is really helpful, for your survivability. So that is my setup and my recommendations for the ARP Takao. I don't know if we're going to be seeing any more Arpeggio ships. I haven't seen models for any of the other ships. I haven't seen anything that would indicate that there are more ships coming, but who knows? We still have another month. We have December until 2017. So who knows what they might do. But hopefully it'll be interesting. So anyways, this has been Sorvesteon in World of Warships covering the ARP Takao. Don't forget to click like and subscribe to my channel for more videos about World of Warships. Until next time, fellow captains, take care and have fun.